Let's dive into a really incredible story today. It comes to us from Pastor James Huang. Now, Pastor Huang served as a missionary out in China and is now in Maryland, and he's also a dedicated researcher of Korean mission history.
He's put together this amazing weekly series called Remember and Repay, a 52-week mission devotional. And what we're looking at today is the story for the third week of March. And believe me, it's an unbelievable tale of love, faith, and a honeymoon that was anything but typical. So, here's where we're headed. We'll start with a missionary's personal sacrifice, then an unlikely courtship in Seoul. We'll even see a wedding gift from a queen. Then we'll cover their mission-focused honeymoon, a secret baptism, and finally, the incredible legacy they left behind.
Okay, let's kick things off with our main character, Horace Underwood. His story begins with a deep commitment to his calling, one that came with a really steep personal price. So picture this. It's April 5th, 1885. Horace Underwood lands at Jeolpo Port in Korea, and he is completely alone. You know why? His decision to serve in what was then called Joseon was so absolute that his own fiancée broke off their engagement over it. So he arrives carrying this immense personal pain, but his purpose was crystal clear.
But as it turns out, his journey wasn't meant to be a solo one. Things were about to take a very interesting turn right there in Seoul when he met someone just as remarkable as he was.
In 1888, 3 years after he arrived, Underwood met Lilias Horden, and the dynamic between them must have been fascinating. Not only was she 8 years older than him, but she was also the personal physician to Queen Myeong-sung herself, a highly respected medical missionary, no doubt about it.
So how in the world did a 30-year-old missionary win the heart of this accomplished 38-year-old doctor? Well, with pure, simple thoughtfulness. He found out her favorite flower was the white clematis vine, and he didn't just send them. He made a point of delivering these beautiful arrangements to her himself. That kind of dedicated personal effort, well, it worked. He completely won her heart.
Their relationship was a big deal. It wasn't just some private affair. No, their wedding became a major social event, and it caught the attention of the absolute highest levels of Joseon society. We're talking about the queen herself.
So, on March 14th, 1889, they were married, and you can imagine the talk around town. A 30-year-old groom marrying a 38-year-old bride who also happens to be the queen's personal doctor. Yeah, that was definitely the talk of Seoul.
Which leads to a really fun question, right? When the bride is your personal physician, what on earth do you, as the queen, give as a wedding gift to a couple of missionaries?
Okay, get this. The answer is 1 million myeong. Now that was an absolutely massive fortune at the time. And this wasn't some quiet bank transfer. The story goes that this enormous amount of cash was literally delivered on the back of a pony. Can you even imagine? What a royal statement. It just goes to show how highly regarded they both were.
But it's what they did next that truly defines them. Because their honeymoon, well, it was anything but a relaxing vacation. In fact, it started the very next day. The day after they got married, the Underwoods set off on a 2-month journey up to the Amnik River region on the northern border. This was a mission trip, plain and simple, just disguised as a honeymoon. It just shows their incredible, immediate dedication to their life's work.
I mean, this was a working honeymoon through and through. As they traveled, they were completely focused on their mission. They were handing out gospel leaflets, preaching to anyone and everyone they met on that long journey north to the border town of Uju.
And it was right there, at the border between Joseon and China, that their trip reached its climax with an act of faith that was both powerful and incredibly risky.
When they finally got to Uju, they found a community of more than 100 Korean Christians waiting for them. These people had been waiting, ready and eager for the chance to be baptized.
Now here's the problem. This presented a huge challenge because performing a Christian baptism on Joseon soil was completely illegal. Doing it would have been a direct act of defiance, and the consequences could have been severe for everyone involved. So, what do? Well, they came up with a plan that was just brilliant. First, they sat down and interviewed all the believers, over 100 of them. From that group, they carefully chose 33 candidates. And then came the clever part. They all got into a boat, crossed the Amnok River, and Underwood performed the baptisms on Chinese soil, where it was perfectly legal. It was so smart.
So when you put it all together, what does this incredible story really tell us? Let's take a look at the powerful legacy that this one trip and their whole lives really created.
It's so clear, isn't it?
For them, their personal love story and their shared mission were one and the same. Even their honeymoon was an act of service, and it helped lay the foundation for so much of the missionary work that would follow in Korea. And that leaves us with something pretty powerful to think about. Their story really makes you wonder, in our own lives, in our own journeys and relationships, what does it truly look like to turn something deeply personal into a selfless mission for the good of others?